Hello and welcome to our Betfred Sports Talk here at the Quest Media Network studios. I'm Lewis and I'm joined by Peter Spencer from Betfred. How are you doing today, Peter?
Yeah, great, thanks very much.
Well, we'll start with England. They were in action over the weekend, beating Malta 4-0 quite comfortably in the end, and they're facing North Macedonia tonight at Old Trafford.
Yeah, it's it's not, you can't sort of dress it up as being a fantastic game. This North Macedonia rated 64 in the world. England right up there in the top 5. Betfred are 1-12 that England get both points and continue this fantastic record that they've got in the qualifying stages of Euro 2024, which is going to be held in Germany as it happens. North Macedonia, who did put one over Italy, remember, not so long ago, and a little bit underrated. They're 25-1 to make this a famous victory at Old Trafford tonight. Just can't see it happening. We've got Harry Kane 9-4. He scored from the spot against Malta, and then we've got Rashford 4-1. Of the other sort of Manchester contingent, and they often do play more Mancunians in the games when they go to the regions. So we've got Phil Foden 5-1 to score the first goal, just ahead of Jack Grealish. He's 6-1. And if you think Harry Maguire will continue his excellent record for England, not so good for Manchester United, he's 16-1 to score the first goal for England tonight. And 4-0 seems a highly popular scoreline. It seems that England take the foot off the gas at that sort of scoreline. So 4-0 against North Macedonia tonight. Betfred have that score at 13-2. That's exactly the same score that they beat Malta, as you say, on Friday. Outright odds, to win Euro 2024, we have France as the favourites, they're 5-1, and then Germany hosting the tournament, as I said, and England both 11-2, and then we've got close on their heels Spain at 8-1. Odds on Scotland winning it, they've been cut quite dramatically. They've come in from 150-1 to 100-1 on the back of that tremendous victory against Norway, when Haaland might have scored but has caused some controversy and not meeting some children afterwards. Scotland are now 100-1 to win Euro 2024 outright. Wales, they've drifted out to 150-1. As of Northern Ireland, they're 500-1, and as for the Republic, they're 200-1 as well. So those are the latest odds from Betfred on 2024.
And it'll be interesting to see tonight if Trent Alexander-Arnold is utilised in that central midfield spot.
Yeah, it's something that a lot of the pundits have been pushing for, but at the end of the day, he might be able to do it against Malta and even against North Macedonia, but is he going to be able to do that against Brazil, France, Argentina? Not so sure. Interesting, the experiment that's going on. They can only beat the team that's put in front of them, and if he's going to experiment, Southgate, these are the games that he needs to experiment. But I just see him as more of a defender in the Stones mould, where he's has a day job, i.e. defending, and then goes into midfield when need be, and that's certainly what Klopp started doing for Liverpool, copying Guardiola's policy with Stones.
There's a lot of people copying Guardiola nowadays. And you mentioned Scotland there. They came from behind. They scored 2 late goals, and they face Georgia this weekend.
Yeah,
this week. Sorry.
They played Georgia on Tuesday at home. On Betfred, have them 1-2 to win that game. So they're odds on to go on and do that. As I say, Scotland are the big movers in the whole market, having pulled off that fantastic victory against Norway.
And we'll move on to the Betfred Challenge Cup now. That was in action over the weekend. It's now into the semi-final stages. Lee Leopards made it through, and they'll face Saints in the semis, and Wigan Warriors defeated Warrington Wolves, and they'll face Hull Kingston Rovers in the semis.
Yeah, it was. Lee made hard work of it against the Championship side and minnows in this competition, York Knights. but they eventually came through 34-14, and as you say, that's won them a tie against St Helens, so they don't hold that much hope in that one, the way that St Helens have suddenly come into form. So to win the Challenge Cup outright, we have St Helens, they're the favourites, 10-11. Wigan, 15-8. They had a pulsating victory against Warrington. That was one heck of a rugby league game. And they came through 14-12 at home. So Wigan are now 15-8 to win the Challenge Cup outright. Lee, third favourites, 13-2. And Hull KR, who have a daunting game against Wigan, they're 15-2 to go and win the Betfred Challenge Cup outright. And on Thursday, you couldn't have predicted this one, having had a real arm wrestle at Hull, the black and white, in the Challenge Cup on Saturday. St Helens are now back at Hull in the Betfred Super League, and they are 2-5 to go on and get the 2 points. That would put St Helens in third spot with a game in hand, so you can see how their form has changed. It wasn't so long ago we were talking about how they're in the bottom half of the table and struggling, but the 2-5 to go on and win at Hull, back at Hull on Thursday. Hull are 2-1, and we've got Jack Wellesby, who is in tremendous form for the Saints. He's 12-1 to score the first try.
We've got quite a nice story to end on. We've got a winner named Pat. He's 73 years old, from Stirling, and he's won £32,000.
Yeah, I interviewed Pat Deary, who founded a joinery company in Stirling. He moved from Ireland and established a family in Stirling in Scotland. What's interesting about this guy, when I started asking him about why he picked these 4 numbers on the Irish lottery, predictably enough, he said that 7 was the birthday of his son, and 10 was the day of his grandson, and the next number was his own birthday, 25, and then his final choice was his great grandson. But what's interesting is they're all called Pat. So he's called Pat, then there's young Pat, then there's wee Pat, and then they thought, well, what are we going to call our great grandson? And they decided that they couldn't call him baby Pat because that might stick with him all through his life. So they started calling him, so he's called Patrick. And I asked him about his dad in Donegal in Ireland, and he's called Pat as well, surprisingly. So then I said, well, what's your wife called? I bet she's called Patricia. And he said, no, she's called Mary. Anyway, I think the toast up in Scotland there is Pat.
Yeah, I've never heard anything quite like that before.
No, you're right.
Quite an interesting story there. And if you do fancy a bet, like our great man Pat and his other relatives that are also his namesake, you can bet online on the app or in Betfred stores.